I'm pumped about it, and it's a good segue back into what we were talking about, which is SFH. And so SFH was born out of two things. One is there was a reason that there's a need for it, right? So what we found out is we got like 15,000 people in our database that have contacted us about building barndominiums. And in the process of talking to these people, there's been a lot of crazy things happen in the market, right? Interest rates are up 4 times, 5 times what they were.
You're rolling with the punches.
And so, it's not a lack of like desire to build. There is an infinite amount of people who need a new home. We could build round the clock for the next 20 years, and we would never shrink the demand for houses, especially in our areas. The Southeast is booming. You can go back and watch that episode with Andre Bauer, and he'll give you all the reasons why. But like South Carolina is booming, but all of the neighboring states that we're building in now, Tennessee, North Carolina, like it is exploding, and it's creating a bigger deficit. And so we're building as fast as we can build, and it's barely making a dent. But the reality is there's a lot of people who need a certain size home, and they like the barndominium because of what it offers, right? Low maintenance. It's built like a Sherman tank. It's super energy efficient. There's a lot of things about it. But if you have a family and you're stuck to make this decision of like, I can't build what I need, or I can't build what I want because it won't give me what I need, then how do we meet that need? And then there's the perception of like, barndominiums are this cheap thing. And I've said it a million times. If I ever find the guy that said you could build them for half price, I kill him. Like on Facebook Live. But you can build them when they're carports. Yeah. We won't even go down that road. Yeah. That's a whole other animal. So what we did is we sat down with our team and we strategized. One of the things that we've done in this company is when we went from building, 5 to 10 buildings a year to now we're facing, moving into 2025, we got to figure out a way to build 200 plus homes in a calendar year. We had to go and get talent. And so we brought guys in from the production world, taught them Barndo, and they have the knack for how to do it. And so in doing that, we sat down with them and said, let me ask you a question. Based off your experience and based off what the demand is, how could we create off of these floor plans that we know the houses people want, but we also know that with the way things are and with interest rates are a huge piece of this. Costs are never going back to normal.
Right.
But interest rates dictate everything because your monthly payment is what every average American family is looking at. And when the interest rates are out of control, how do you manipulate that so that if that's the monthly payment, how do I get more space?
You're fitting them.
Yeah. And so we sat down and we spent months doing this, which was absolutely excruciating for me because I'm not a planner. I'm a doer. Like, I just want to do it. I'm be like, we're going to start building these tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so the team took about 4 to 6 months and went through these things and selected floor plans and literally reconstructed them in a way to where we could do a stick-built home with the same floor plan and change the way we build it, change some of the things that make the Barndos, more expensive, and create an economy line of product that gets people the space they need in a quality, affordable home. And they come back to us with the pricing. We put everything together, and then we launched that on August the 4th, and it's been insane, the attraction to it, because there's so many families who are stuck. And so you're not just stuck. You can still get what you want with a few sacrifices of finishes, but you can get what you need, and you can still build on your lot. You can still build your dream. You can still find someone to meet you in the middle. And there's not a lot of people that are out there chasing the affordable market, build on your lot style. And then there's the whole other side of this business where we fully intend to start putting in neighborhoods with the SFH line of product. But for now, it's built on your lot, and the pricing on it is absolutely incredible. And I shout out our team. Heath worked round the clock to make it as affordable as possible and literally went to vendors and said, what do we have to do to get it here? Because we had a goal where we needed to be on the market price to make it the most affordable custom-built home on the market, and we did it. And so we've released it. It's a little bit of a limited map compared to our Barndo map, but there's a reason behind that. There's a lot of ramp up that goes into it, and our goal is over the next 12 months to turn it wide open everywhere we're building Barndos. But you got to progress into it because we don't want people to have a poor experience with a whole new process. But talk a little bit about SFH. What are some of the changes between an SFH versus a Barndo build?
The largest one is the ceiling heights. So instead of having giant vaults, I think we're building them all at 9-foot ceilings, and you have the option to go to a 10-foot ceiling. However, we don't do these big, giant, massive vaults in the living room. The wall cavities are a lot smaller. You're going to go back to a insulated, not spray foam, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. The biggest struggle doing what you're talking about with Heath was getting it affordable and maintaining quality.
Yeah.
So we're not going to lose quality. However, we have to make sure that it's affordable. So you got to roll the punches, and that's the biggest thing. And then at that point, as long as every one of our plans, and again, going back into this is we have a set amount of plans that we're going to offer. There's no alterations to those plans because we have literally cut them to the teeth to get clients in houses affordably to where they can enjoy that home. And so it is a semi-custom, but it's also permanent fix. We're going to let them choose countertops, cabinet colors, all the normal cosmetics, but we need to make sure that we protect that the integrity of that decision.
Yeah. Well, some of the things, so like some of the things that create affordability were structural changes, right? I mean, a barndominium is a superior unit any way you slice it, and that's all good and well if you can afford it, right? And we catch grief and slack all the time, like, oh, this other barndominium builder's way cheaper. That's great. We made a decision about 18 months ago that we would not deviate from the standards of what we selected, and so every barndominium is built the same way structurally. Internally, you can pick and choose and do whatever you would like, and you can custom create plans, do all that stuff. But when we build it, we're going to build to Barndo Co standards, because every time we've ever deviated from that standard, it's resulted in a poor experience for somebody. Mm-hmm. And so some things that are non-negotiables for Barndo. But in this line, we could negotiate on them because there's some differences there, right? You're not solving the Rubik's Cube of turning a metal building into a dwelling place. You're just building a home, but you're coming in with the same care and consideration. So some things that you can guarantee yourself on is, yes, the home is built differently. It's built conventionally. Mm-hmm. It's built, wood truss assembly, 2x4 exterior walls. It's built like that.
That's right.
The standard package comes with vinyl siding. We still do the board and batten across the front elevation of the home, so it still gives that appearance because we're using Barndo floor plans for these, slightly altered to fit the new construction style. But
I think he's trying to sell me on one.
Yeah, and then shingle roofs instead of metal. You can upgrade to metal, but again, we're just looking at ways we can cut down on the affordability aspect. The biggest driver of affordability, though, was how do we build it faster? Mm-hmm. Fewer days on job, less time involved in the planning, and the only way you could facilitate that was to build the same house over and over and over again and not allow people to come in and customize it. So because a lot of people are like, well, I want to customize my house. Well, then you got to build Barndo, because that's not what SFH is. SFH is meeting people where they are and realizing, like, this may not be forever. It may be. It may be your forever home. It is a great home. But here's the guarantee. The inside, we did not cut anything. We're still doing LVP throughout. We're still offering the same line of cabinets in the kitchens and bathrooms that are in our barndominiums. You're still getting the same level of countertops. You're still getting all Delta fixtures throughout the house, just like in Barndo. Right. We literally did not skimp on anything as far as the features of that home, other than the way it's built. The way it's built, and because of the way it's built, you don't have the ability to do these giant vaulted ceilings and stuff that's synonymous with our stuff online. I mean, the biggest differentiator in a Barndo Co Barndo and anything else that's out there is every one of ours.
It's still vast open spaces. It's just a 9-foot ceiling.
Yep, for sure. So again, you're not sacrificing comfort. You're only sacrificing certain things that go into that, and it's not like, the insulation's different. Why? It's more affordable, but also with the cavity spacing, and because you're not doing metal and you don't have all this evaporative cooling stuff that takes place in the Southeast, you're not solving that problem. You're still insulating above what the insulation requirements are for that home. Mm-hmm. So it's still over insulated compared to what code requires. Okay. And the home is still functional. So what it allowed people to do is get into a bigger home for less money and it's quicker. So a couple of things, like if you're familiar with our product, you know all about onboarding, you know what that looks like, you know what that includes, you know that we're not just going to run out there and sign contracts. We're not going to do that. We're going to do our due diligence. And a lot of people get so frustrated. Like and it's because we're different. Onboarding is a different process than most builders. Like we're not going to just run in and promise the world.
It's a very, very important process. One of the very most important things for us is site visits.
Yep.
So during that onboard process, you may choose an SFH plan and have a terrible lot. And we need to know, because this gives you the ability for us to go, hey, it's not buildable here.
Yep.
Either fall back and punt, find another piece of dirt, or do something else.
Yep.
But we need the onboarding process is what solves that.
Yep. And like I'm saying, in that design plan, like if you onboard with Barndo, you're paying $5,000 or $7,500, depending on if it's custom or not, or more if it's something. We've got some people designing some
crazy stuff,
and that takes more hours. But that's that's few and far between. The majority of people coming in, they're doing that, and that is a 45 to 90 day process. Typically, we have had people that took them 180 days to figure it out. And the thing is, we're giving you the ability to figure it out, because once it's done, that's what's being built. And so some of the frustration is I get it. We live in an instant gratification society. People want to be like, I onboarded, how fast can you start building my house? And what they don't realize is that the attention and the details in the beginning. You got to pick everything that goes in this house. We got to look at everything in this house. And when we deliver you this price, it is encompassing all aspects of this build. And we've gotten better at it. We've gotten better at facilitating it. And I think that if there's a complaint with Barndo, the number one thing is the people that never built with us, they all get mad. And it's because during that planning phase, they figured out they designed the home and their taste was bigger than their budget. And they get frustrated because they kind of get stuck. Again, SFH helps solve this problem a little bit, because we can always drop back and punt. But we wanted to keep onboarding a part of the SFH experience. So how does that play into a less customized option? Because we're still building on your lot and there's still a plan involved in it, and you still do get that plan, even though there's no changes to that plan, you still get that plan. We still want you to have the ability to choose to do business with us, not just be forced into a contract day one, because that's crazy. You hear people all the time talk about like, well, there's just a lot of pressure from their sales team. Pressure to onboard you is way different than pressure to close you, because until you onboard, nobody's going to spend the time and care and consideration with you, because you're not a serious buyer.
Right.
The moment you onboard, you got full attention, and there is going to be a lot of care and consideration that goes into this, and we're going to discover, is this feasible for you and your family? And it may not be. And that's the beauty of what you've done, because now you have resources, you've been educated, you have a proposal, you have plans, you can go shop the market. And a lot of people go shop and come back because they realize it really wasn't that bad. They're uneducated to what other people are charging. But so how does that look? What does onboarding look like for SFH? It's $2,500, right? What does that include? It includes your site visit, so we can come out there and determine what does the lot look like, what kind of upgrades and property improvements do we have to make to get your driveway put in, to get your utilities on site, to get your pad created, to get everything there, to have conversations around what your vision looks like for that property. You got to know what that costs, and it's different because it's on your lot. Every build we do, it's different. What is your soils? Where is the location? How long is the driveway?
I love this.
Yeah. So like everything is
guys,
different.
This was a conversation in the beginning where I was like, all these things we have to know. And now this is what you got.
Yeah. So we don't want someone to execute a contract unless we've planned to fail. Mm-hmm. And that's what your onboarding is. We're planning for failure on every front. We want to look at every single thing. The other side of onboarding, the fun part, is you're going to get to come into a design center. You're going to get to pick out all your selections. You're going to touch the tile that's going in your shower. You're going to see the color of the paint going on your wall. You're going to play with all those Delta fixtures and find the ones that you like and the color you want and the light fixtures and all the things. And you're going to put that into there. And at this point, this is my home. The cabinets. Right, I love it. I love watching husband and wife go round and round and round and round the island in there and argue over the cabinets. And finally, the men just surrender. Right, if you're smart, man, surrender. But you get that whole thing, and then you're going to get a build price. The cool thing about SFH that's different than Barndo is you can go on the website right now, click the SFH Homes thing, and it's got a price on it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that, you know, we didn't just pull this out of thin air. We took the 10 most popular plans.
Yep.
People choose these plans over and over and over. Even if they go into Barndo Co in the beginning and they want to alter some things, they always start with these plans every time.
Yep.
And so you're not getting an inferior product. You're getting the same identical plan. The only difference is it's been changed to the SFH process.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.